Do your research and tell me, are they crying about this 12-year-old that got killed?
Tonight, a family mourns the loss of a 12-year-old little boy shot and killed.
He was not a bad child. He was not a bad child. He just made bad decisions.
Are they crying at this 12-year-old? You don't know his name. You ain't never gonna know his name. He ain't never gonna get a t-shirt. He ain't never gonna get Benjamin Crump reputation. They're not gonna do a press conference. They're not gonna want justice. Before we get back to the show, I wanna tell you guys about Shinergy. If you're tired of energy drinks that spike you up, make you jittery, and then crash you later, Shinergy is built differently. Shinergy Day gives you clean, steady energy and focus with natural caffeine from green tea. Shinergy Night helps you wind down so that you can rest, you can wake up clean, not groggy. It's a simple day and night system made with natural ingredients, no sugar spikes, and no synthetic stimulant overload. Go to SynergyLife.com and try it for yourself. Better energy, better rest, better rhythm. Before I get out of here, because I got to get up out of here and get on this flight, I got one more story to talk about. And why are you talking about this story, Brandon? Because I told you guys from the very beginning, I have to be the whisperer because I feel like people are not going to ever keep it real. Now, we've seen all this controversy that's gone out in the media when Carmelo Anthony came out, and all these black folks are crying about Carmelo Anthony. Even though he killed somebody, even though he was wrong, they crying about him, you know, getting 35 years in prison. But let me find Benjamin Crump or anybody crying about this situation. Pull it up. Let me see. Do your research and tell me, are they crying about this 12-year-old that got killed by another black man? Roll the clip. Let's see if they crying about it. Hold on, time out. Before I see who crying about what, are they crying at this 12-year-old? You don't know his name. You ain't never gonna know his name. He ain't never gonna get a t-shirt. He ain't never gonna get Benjamin Crump reputation. They're not gonna do a press conference. They're not gonna want justice. They're not gonna ask for justice. They're gonna talk about it. So you ain't gonna get that part. And then also, on the other side of this, the family does not feel like anybody should be held accountable. When I say anybody should be held accountable, wait till you see how this 12-year-old ended up getting shot. And to be honest, even though he was 12, he was still involved in violent behavior that ended up getting him shot. Roll the clip.
Tonight, a family mourns the loss of a 12-year-old little boy shot and killed in downtown Nashville.
After a fight turned deadly, now police say they have arrested the man accused of pulling the trigger. News 2's Lexi Wilson has that story.
He took my baby from me.
This family.
Before I get to grandma saying this stuff, I want to articulate what I believe we just saw and why it's not self-defense. Now, it appears that the man with the dreads that got arrested, that I believe did the shooting. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's the one that did the shooting. He got jumped by like 6, 7 people. And somehow this 12-year-old was a part of that. He's jumping and kicking and doing all kind of stuff, which is absolutely insane. Now, I'm not saying he deserved anything by that, but him putting himself in a position because mom and them don't raise their kids right. Because if you look at this video, and I don't even remember, I could be wrong. I don't think daddy on this video one time. These boys ain't got no daddies. Either their daddy is terrible or they grandma and them raising them. And what these women do, they make excuses for the 12-year-old boy. When he was 3 years old, 4, 5, 6, 7, they raise him to just do crazy stuff. And then he ends up jumping some nut job and getting in on it and think it's funny. And then this fool ends up firing blindly and killing this 12-year-old. Let me tell you why this is not self-defense. He may try to argue self-defense. Once the scenario or the engagement in violence has subsided and is no longer a threat, you cannot then turn around and shoot people in the back. Now, if he had pulled his gun and shot any one of them while he was getting jumped, 100% justified. He wouldn't spend a minute in jail. He would be justified because he is getting jumped by multiple people. So serious bodily injury or death could be a reality for him. Using deadly force in that situation would have been justified. Don't care how old these kids are or nothing. He's getting jumped. He could have been killed. To be honest, they could have stomped his head and it'd have been over. And he had a gun on this person. Now, if he's illegally carrying that gun, that's another question. But once they stop jumping him, they run away. They're no longer a threat. Now, his pride hurt, but there's no longer a threat to you. There's no serious threat of serious injury or bodily harm, right? Or death, what we call it. So then you pull out a gun and shoot people while they're running away. That is murder, my friend. Listen to grandma and them that never held this boy accountable and still don't think that nothing is wrong here. That your 12-year-old is out unsupervised jumping a man and potentially could have killed him. Because to be honest, if he would have died in that scenario, all of those boys would have been charged with murder. If somebody would have kicked him in the head the right way and he'd have died, all them boys, including that 12-year-old, would have been charged with murder. Roll the clip.
Still in disbelief after 12-year-old Damarian Moorhead was shot and killed Sunday night.
Why did he bring a gun?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. Nobody can answer that for me.
Emotions still raw
Time out.
as
I
they
can answer
remember Moorhead.
Grandma, Granny, Big Mama, let me answer for you. Why did he bring a gun? Because your grandson and these other kids jumped him. You got to be afraid of getting jumped and potentially killed. That's why he had a gun. To be quite honest, I don't know if he threatened them with the gun. That's why they stopped jumping him, because they were kicking him in the head and everything. That's why he got a gun. This room is full of women. Do you notice that? Full of women. Where are the men at in the community? They ain't there. That's why these kids are out of control. The one shooting and the one getting shot, and all the other kids jumping him. All of them kids could have lost their entire life if that young man would have died. And to be honest, they actually should charge the other kids with murder from the 12-year-old getting killed, because their actions, which was criminal, caused the death of another kid. Now, let me backtrack that. If he had acted in self-defense legitimately, I think they would have all been charged with murder. But because the scenario dispersed and he shot somebody in the back, therefore the threat was not imminent, and then he shot somebody in the back that was wrong. But if they were jumping him and he shot and killed a 12-year-old while they were jumping him, all the kids there would have been charged with felony murder, because in the commission of a felony crime, somebody died because of their violent behavior. They would have been charged. Anyway, let's get to grandma now, and then we're going to get up out of here, y'all. I promise. Roll it.
As a kid who loved to rap and play football, his brothers and cousins admired him.
He was not a bad child. He was not a bad child. He just made bad decisions. We all done made bad decisions.
Metro Police say the fight broke out here in a courtyard near Representative John Lewis Way in Dedrick Street. During the fight, police say 24-year-old Devin Orr pulled out a gun. As people started to run, police say shots were fired. The 12-year-old was hit in the head. He later died at the hospital.
He didn't care how old he was or who he was. He just...
Monday morning, police arrested Orr at a home on Fisk Street. Investigators say the fight was over a woman.
A woman. Where's the outrage? Where's the t-shirts? Where's the GoFundMes? Where's the community coming together to talk about this? These boys then jumped this man over a woman. It all happened over a woman. And now people have lost their lives. 12-year-old gone, never coming back. Everybody's traumatized. And this guy probably spent the rest of his life in prison. Like, when are people going to start teaching and preaching the right thing in the community? When are women going to stop letting everybody hit it on the weekend without holding nobody accountable? And I'm not saying it's just the women's fault, because men, when you going to stop hitting these freaks on the weekend and you ain't got no plan to take care of your kids? You have no plan of having a baby with this woman. You're not trying to be there. You're not trying to take care of nothing. You need to not have children with women that you are not married to. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't know better. If you know what I'm saying. You don't have children with women that you're not married to. If you got married and it didn't work out, hey, you at least you fare better than somebody just smashing and dashing on the weekend and you got some thought that ain't a good mama anyway, and she hates you and you hate her and y'all don't get along and she trying to keep you away from the kids and do all kind of crazy stuff, and now you in a position where you ain't even there for your kids. I'm just throwing it out there, man. Y'all have to listen to me.